Woo! What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second, hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily, and of course, hop in the Discord. The link for that's in the description box down below.
Welcome, everybody. And if you're in the East Coast or a couple minutes away in Central Time Zone, happy Thanksgiving to everybody, guys. Officially, right? It's here. But even more important, beat the commies tomorrow. Let's make it a true American day.
Absolutely.
Yes, can't wait. Yeah, everybody's ready to go, family and friends and loved ones. And then at 4:30 Eastern Time, hopefully we begin the beating of the communists. So anyways, guys, I appreciate everybody in here tonight hitting that like, subscribe, notification bell, and then let's open it up to see who's leading the boards this week here on top spots here, making MCF go round and round, baby. Why don't you shout out the people that have represented here on the sponsor of the week. And happens to be also the king of the Cash App.
I think we all know why he's here. A huge and extra special shout out to the man, SnugX. Appreciate you, of course, like Mr. MCF said, repping it, sponsor of the week, Cash App King.
You know why he's here.
Mr. Seabass, bossing that stream
That's
around,
right.
fully loaded up. And of course, Jason Renfro is our membership king back to back.
Trying to go for a three-peat. He is in the lead with one gifted membership. That's the lead right now for this week. Much love to Jason Renfro, who is also trying to take over the Cash App back again. He's got the all-time 20-week streak. No one's really come close except for SnugX on that. And SnugX trying to hold it down. Well, Jason Renfro's in the lead as we speak there. He's also in the lead in the gifting side of things, but he's not in the lead on the overall board because that belongs to Amazing Games. He's up by 2 over Hannibal King and others. So we'll see how this thing continues this week. Tomorrow's game day, but the week don't stop. So it might be a little lighter week this week, but you'll have your chances, guys, to get to the top spot or get in the running on any of these boards. But it's not all we're shouting out here tonight. It's not just that side of things. Also the navy blue, silver, star, and over everything levels. Why do I say that? Because there's different ways to drop the love in here, whether it's a super chat, whether it's jumping in those memberships, whether it's gifting memberships, or a thanks button. And in the Cash App side, there's 4 other ways.
Of course, you have the Cash App, money sign, My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but not least, the Streamlabs link shows up on your screen like a super chat.
That's right, guys. And of course, with all these levels, we got the top shelf levels like the star level and over everything levels, and we do those nightly shout outs here on My Cowboys Family. Again, Friday we do the silver as well in the mix. But baby, without further ado, who is repping that star level and over everything level?
Shout out to the man, Skeptical Fan, Jason Renfro, Lincoln Kane, Mary Alvarez, Andy Potched, Marissa Sparkle, Da Lunatic, and over everything, Seabass.
Yeah, much love to everybody again. And as we get ready for game day, it is game day here in the East Coast and Central Time, so we're ready for this thing to kick off.
Yeah, tomorrow. We're getting the turkey in the oven.
This time tomorrow,
the Cowboy game ready to go.
We already got our win. We already had our din. Oh, so, but yes, in about what?
In 12 hours.
Yeah, about 12 hours or so, about 14 hours from now, hopefully we'll be having our foot deep in the Commanders' asses. So we'll see what happens. And we'll talk about what we need to do to win this thing, some must-win matchups against the Commanders. And, of course, also looking at our offense versus their defense. Now, we did the shout-outs. Mm-hmm. We have to do the shout-outs to the people in the house here with us on My Cowboys Family. So, baby, without further ado as well, who's here chilling with us on a little bit later night? My Cowboy Family here, pre-game breakdown.
Thank you to Jason Renfro, much love.
House, yes.
We have Brandon James in the house. Lost in Translation Podcast, much love to you. Rudy G Funk, hello and hi. Spoony Dog representing. Daniel Berry Sports, hello, what's up? We got Fuego bringing the heat. I hope you win the Monopoly game, by the way. Asmodeus, salute to you. Thanks for coming through. Cactus G in the place to be. David Lara, hopefully you're out of work already. Eric Wallace, hey, for once your Seahawks get a little shine, right? Cameron, what's up?
Not next Thursday.
No. Oh, football, turkey, liquor, weed, and women, said Fuego. Hey, if that's not a holiday, I don't know what is. Freedom First looks like, oh no, you were not first today. Sorry. think that's everybody here so far. I'll make sure to keep rolling with the shout-outs as we keep going through. But, baby, let me hand things off to you so that we can, start getting our turkeys ready to go.
Yeah, this is actually going to be a pretty quick stream. It's our usual pregame stuff. It's kind of like a Saturday stream where there's just very light news and everything's piled into a couple of days. But quick turnaround.
It's been a weirder short turnaround week, I think.
Yeah, but I will say this. The only NFL news that I find important is what's going on with Darius Shaquille Leonard. Darius Leonard, Shaq Leonard, Colts 3-time All-Pro linebacker who was released yesterday. We talked about this in detail last night. Was he going to get picked up? Was he going to really clear waivers? Because, I don't know if anyone's going to put in for a $6.11 million contract for 7 games plus playoffs. So that's something that's kind of...
There's obviously interest.
There's definitely interest, but there was not enough interest because no one put in a waiver claim to pick him up and pick up that contract. So he went through waivers. He did not get claimed, and now he's just a free agent. He can get any kind of contract for any amount of money from anybody. That's what it comes out. And it's not a now. It's just basically you're fighting for his rights now, but not under that $6.11 million. That's going to go to the Colts, and they have to pay that off. At least we know
where the ceiling is at. Is the point?
Yeah, right? that's the way high ceiling. It's way high over what anybody would want to pay, not just the Cowboys. So letting him go past waivers, every all 32 teams did that. So now every team can battle it out. And right now there are currently 2 teams that are expected to have some level of interest. And they're both in the NFC East. The Philadelphia Eagles and Howie Roseman. And our Dallas Cowboys. Yes, the Cowboys are one of the teams that are currently, projected to make a run at Darius Leonard at linebacker. I think he'd be a great pick. Remember I told you yesterday, baby, no, we should not place a claim for him, a waiver claim. But yes, if he goes through waivers and no one gets claimed, and no one claims him, which I didn't think was going to 100% happen. Wasn't sure if it was going to happen. Well, it happened. Then I said, if that happens, the Cowboys should definitely go after him and try to get him on this team. There's never going to be a time when you don't want a little bit extra depth there at linebacker, especially with no LVE, right? So we talked about that yesterday in detail. Now that he went through waivers, the Eagles and the Cowboys are going to fight for his right to play football for them. So we'll see what happens. First, kicking off the night tonight with the first drop of this stream, it's the great Jason Renfro. What did the man drop, and what did he have to say?
I think he said, "Go Cowboys." Thank you so much, Jason. Of course he did with a $239 holler there. Kicking things off, Mr. Seabass is down to 98 points.
So lopped 2 points off of that with the 239 in here. So again, much love, Jason Renfro. As he keeps to try, keep trying. He's going to keep trying to get to the top of the overall board as well. You know how Jason does. He's always in the mix. Much love, Jason Renfro. And as always, go Cowboys. Now, that's, again, the Darius Leonard situation. I don't know if you're having any thoughts, baby. I think pretty much every Cowboy fan probably says, you know what? He's worth trying to bring in now to Dallas after clearing waivers. I said it before, even when we talked about the waiver situation. I think it's worth at least considering. And obviously we considered it on the waiver side and decided no. But now that he's not quite as expensive, I feel like my interest has only gone up. Yeah, and especially if, and I don't want to be this person, but the Eagles are after him. And maybe I am feeling quite petty enough to say, you know what? I don't want the Eagles to have him. And it's not even, and a good part of me is just like I said, pure pettiness. I just don't want the Eagles to have him. But at the same time, the Eagles have consistently, unfortunately, made some pretty good mid-season moves. So the fact that they're going after him and the fact that we also want to go after him, it just makes me go, maybe there's a little bit more something there. You got to remember, the Cowboys, we lost LVE. Of course, we had lost rookie DeMarvion Overshown, third-round pick. These are linebackers that are gone, right? We cut Jabril Cox. He couldn't hack it. And when you look at, the Eagles side, they lost Nakobe Dean, who was their starter, the number 14. So he's gone for a while. I don't know if he's going to be back anytime soon. I don't know how long he's going to be out for, but they want to bring in somebody to replace him as well. So it's going to be a fight. Two teams that have lost both of their starting linebackers in the middle there. They're tackling machine guys. And now, we brought in Rashaan Evans. The Cowboys like him, but he's a practice squad guy that earned his spot on this team. I don't know if he's going to get that many snaps. I think Darius Leonard is a better overall player than him right now, but both guys are not guys you should overlook, especially Darius Leonard, I think. And I think the Cowboys are taking a real good look at him. Again, is this a due diligence Stephen Jones thing, or is this an actual effort to go out there and get it. We'll see what happens.
I'm genuinely hoping it's more than just due diligence.
We'll see.
I also know that Jason Renfro had another Go Cowboys.
Oh, hell yeah.
With his dollar holler there.
Yeah.
Once again, chipping away at Mr. Seabass, now 97.
He's got that OSA.
Thank you, Jason. Much love.
He's got the OSA representation there of Seabass. Much love to Jason Renfro. And as always, gets that 6 and beyond.
You see, and Big Dal 8604 is kind of backing up and saying what I was saying just now. We need to get him just to keep him from the Eagles. They were getting worked in the middle of the field. Keep them weak there.
The Cowboys...
Because we're better than the Chiefs. So, I'm just saying, when we're talking about short and long-term goals, this does help us.
For this season, it would help us a lot, whether his play or his, the value of him backing up our starters, or he gets in there some reps on his own. Now, he comes out on third downs. On nickel downs, he's out. So he's not your coverage guy, but we have coverage guys there at linebacker that are pretty good. We want to make sure we got that run-stopping linebacker, which we are okay on. But as I said last week, I said it this game with the Panthers. Yesterday I talked about it. Our defensive run stop must get better. It's still, if the team wants to be consistent at running the ball on us, they will consistently run on us. Maybe not the first 5 or 6 times out of 10. It won't be successful. By the time they get the 15th and 20th runs, they're going to be much more consistent and successful against our run defense. I still have questions about it, even if we look good. And Darius Leonard would be a help in helping stop and slow down other teams' running games, not just now, but like you said, in the playoffs, where you might have another injury, you might have someone banged up, might miss a game. You got Darius Leonard there, and that's major. Now, do we need more linebackers? Maybe not, but I don't think it would hurt to bring in Darius Leonard for $2 million. You know what I'm saying? We made an incentive to hit 3. That's a good deal there for us, and probably a good deal for him. Depends on what the Eagles are doing and how much they're willing to throw at him as well. So this is going to be a little battle between two NFC East teams, the Eagles and Cowboys, trying to see if they can get and win his ability to wear either the star or that ugly ass green eagle. So, any other comments on this before we move it on to the next topic? That's the NFL news right there, even though it heavily involves the Cowboys.
Another point here. Shout out to the man Zach Luna with a $2 holler. He's giving us a bit of friendly advice here, saying Shaq is washed. Don't do it.
Yeah. So again, good to know that. Again, a lot of reasons why no one's really going at him. His play time decreased. He was benched. He had never supposedly asked for a trade or to be gone, but he also, there's no.
Did he really do anything to get himself back out there?
Yeah, we're not really sure how good or not. Last year and a half, he hasn't really shown much on tape. So that's the big question. But is it worth the risk for $1.5 million? And
look, this is what we mean by do your due diligence. Now, I will be honest. I don't care how washed he is. If the Eagles basically pick him up for a $5 bill and a can of Coke, and he does even something, I'm going to be a little bit pissed off.
That's the thing.
That's just reality.
To me, it's the price you're paying, right? If you're paying $6 million for a washed guy, that's a ripoff. That's why no one did it in the NFL. But if the Eagles are willing to pay $4 million and we're only going to pay $2 million, well, then you let him go to the Eagles.
Okay, so if he's let's approach it maybe from that perspective real quick for a second. If he is, let's say, worse than we maybe even expected, if he is scuffed, if he is banged up, in the sense of just not producing the way that you would want. What is your limit on the price that you would be
for a guy of his talent? For
that kind of potential.
I would say $2 million tops, something like that.
2.5
with the incentives, I guess 2.5, something in that range. I don't see the Cowboys going anything over 2.5. And that's a lot, I think, already for the Cowboys to do it. They're probably looking for a vet minimum or, $1 million, 1.5.
By the way, Chalk to Montana Bay, take it easy, have a great one.
Much love, Montana in the house.
He's giving perspective the Cowboys should value. So I'm guessing you're leaning more towards the no side of it than Seabass. You'd rather not. Look, I have to. Okay, so yeah. He's saying with incentives, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. 2.5, we top it out there.
Big Dow saying 10 tackles per game in the last 3 games. He can stop the run. We don't need him to cover.
Yeah, exactly. We've talked about the fact on nickel packages, when the Cowboys have their 5 or more defensive backs, they would not be Darius Leonard on the field. It'd be Damone Clark and Marquise Bell on that field, most probably. So. That's the thing about the Cowboys, that we wouldn't use him as a starter. He'd be a rotational helping piece for the Cowboys, and yes, he would play maybe some rundowns, and maybe he would look like he would start some games, but it's more about the percentage of snaps it would be like in the 45 to maybe 55% of snaps for someone like Darius Leonard. It would not be the 70 or 80% snaps you pay a full-time bona fide starter. So if you measure it like that and can convince him here would be better for him, again, remember, he'd probably have more opportunities here at linebacker than at the Eagles, although with Nakobe Dean injured, who knows? And this is a big thing. He's picking from two teams, which one can make a run, which one can get him on TV more. We know it's the Cowboys. But, these are the things he's going to think about, which team gives him a better chance to get on that field. What about Kenzie Bands in the house?
Woo, sharing his membership message, 5 months. Kenzie Band, shout out to you.
Navy Blue Crew, much love to you, Kenzie. What did Kenzie say with that monthly membership message?
He said, man, I'm going to always say this. I love you guys' channel so much. I'm glad I came across y'all YouTube channel. Love MCF and go Cowboys.
Hell yeah, man. I appreciate those words really mean a lot.
Kenzie Bands, especially now at Thanksgiving time, taking a moment to be extra thankful for all the things we have. And we do have to be honest, guys. We are very, very thankful to have this community of Cowboy fans here that I think we've, built our own little corner of the YouTube world, so to speak, and, appreciate everybody just taking the time to come and hang with us, and especially just sharing their thoughts on the Cowboys, whether we agree or disagree. To know there's that many other passionate people about their team like us, makes you feel a little less alone in the world.
Again, I'm going to be honest, guys. Since starting this channel 6.5 years ago.
It's also crazy to think about.
It's insane. I can't even put it in thought. Yeah, but the fact that since we've been doing this, I will admit, my life before that, when it comes to these games, it's a lot of hard effort, hard work, and passion that goes into this channel, but by both of us. But the biggest thing I realized, one of the biggest positives, is the fact that when we lose a game, it doesn't hurt as much as it used to.
I agree.
And it's not because I don't care any less. I care more. It's because you guys care as we do. You guys, we care as much as you. We're not here trying to put a front on or trying to show us getting upset.
It's worse in some ways in the sense that we have to very publicly acknowledge our pain at the Cowboys losing. It's not exactly always easy or fun.
Listen, sometimes we're wrong. Sometimes we'll say something that doesn't make sense or it's off.
Sometimes you're wrong.
Okay. But my thing is that sometimes we talk about it and we get into it and this passion takes over. When we talk about it the next day and we understand maybe some wrong, some right. But it's just knowing that everybody's kind of on the same boat here, where there's different levels of passion, but we all are passionate about seeing the Cowboys win and get that 6 and beyond. And that's never going to die. With me, with you guys, it lives forever through our next generation and the next generation and the next generation. Rep that star for everything. So I think we're good with Darius Leonard now, right? I think we got it all caught up. Seabass and 94 points.
Not much more to touch on there until we hear more. Right. And honestly, don't be surprised if you don't hear at least a tiny comment about it, at some point in the next, day or two from one of the... I just expect Jerry to pry open his big mouth, is my point.
Well, he spoke today. We're going to talk about what he said, but not really much on Leonard. I will say this. Well, I don't know if he spoke today. It was yesterday he spoke. But I will say this. When it comes to Darius Leonard, remember, the Eagles are getting ready to play. The Cowboys are going to play tomorrow. So, I think look, if the Eagles go grab him, it'll probably be done before the next time Jerry Jones speaks about it. But at the same time, if the Eagles don't go and corral him tomorrow, let's say, or on Friday, the Cowboys now, I think, would have a chance. While the Eagles prep their game, the Cowboys now can lay back. We got a week, after this game to get ready for the Seahawks. But at the same time, we could kind of start over and start fresh and say, okay, now we can bring in that new player. Now we can make a real run for him. So I think after this game is when you see a better move for a Darius Leonard. If we're getting
a final little comment here just from Chalk to Montana 808. He's like, one more before I go. Dallas might pay the $6 to $8 million to get Leonard before the Eagles. Now, thankfully, it's not going to be $6 to $8 million, but just a general, we might be willing to snipe him from the Eagles just to snipe him from the Eagles.
It's like you're getting two players. You're getting the player that you're going to roll the dice on, but you're also keeping the player from going to the Eagles.
You're keeping a weakness on Philly still weak.
Yeah, and the thing is, here's what I'm going to say, though. Montana, with the $6 to $8 million, there's no way in hell the Cowboys will pay that much, even to snipe him from the Eagles. The reason I say that, the Cowboys could have sniped them now. If we had put a waiver claim, guess what? For $6 million, you would have had him. So there's no need to snipe. There's no need to battle. The Cowboys really wanted him that bad, even to keep him from the Eagles. They would have made a move on the waiver wire, but they didn't. So they ain't gonna be even close to $6 million, and neither are the Eagles. Trust me. So we'll see what happens. But if anything, they might pay $4. We're only going at $2, and then the Eagles can have them, right? So
at that point,
we'll see what happens. Anyways, is that it now? I see Swart in the house. He's probably out there, shooting up. Anyways.
And yeah, I guess,
He knows
Jason,
what I
is
said.
that your bold prediction?
What do you say?
Bland breaks the record tomorrow.
Pick sixes, 5 pick sixes in a season. We shall see.
I know, but
Be
can
nice.
you imagine 2 pick sixes basically within like 4 days of each other? That's
awesome.
That's a big ask, not impossible.
If DaRon Bland is in the right place, right time, it could definitely rightly happen. And we'll be watching. And if it doesn't happen this week, there's other opportunities for sure, guys, because there's still 7 more games, 6 games left, 7 games left in the season. And yeah, it's far from over. DaRon Bland's definitely going to get a shot to do that. Now, let's start talking about going back to, that's the only non-Cowboy news, which is NFL news, which is literally Cowboy news. Let's be honest.
Everything is Cowboy adjacent.
It's always. But that, here we go. Another one, El Fuego in the house. Member for 2 months in that Navy Blue crew.
Ooh, shout out to you,
What did
Fuego.
Fuego say?
He said Bland is getting 3 pick sixes tomorrow, breaking the NFL record.
All he needs is one.
Holy
That's
shit.
all he needs is one. I'm going to stick with, at best, 1 pick six for him. How about that? Somebody else might get a pick six, but
I guess the
Bland
good
gets
news
one.
is I'm assuming he's ending the game in that fashion. Cause,
Shit. If he gets 3 pick sixes, we better put him on offense. He probably outscored our offense. So
he's looking better than Michael Gallup out there.
You know, speaking of DaRon Bland, let's start off with him. There's some awards coming out, and this week, baby, DaRon Bland was named the NFC Defensive Player of the Week. Of course, he recorded his 6th interception of the season, tied for first place in the league. You know, in the NFL, most interceptions so far, and of course he returned it for his 4th pick six touchdown for the season. It ties a single season NFL record in that win against the Panthers. And if you look at DaRon Bland again, one more. He's the 4th player to ever do that. And in one more, at any time in these last games of the regular season, and he gets one more pick six, he breaks the all-time record. He had 5 tackles in this game. Of course, an interception back for 30 yards and a touchdown. And this was DaRon Bland's first career Player of the Week. He becomes the 3rd Cowboy defensive back to win Defensive Player of the Week in the past 10 years. He only joins 2 guys. Week 4, 2021, Trayvon Diggs. And Week 9, 2019, Xavier Woods. Yeah. He becomes the 3rd former Fresno State player to win the Defensive Player of the Week. He's joining linebacker David Grayson. And back in 89, Week 1, and Week 10 of 2010, James Sanders safety. So DaRon Bland ripping it up out there. Really, Fresno State repping it there, Cowboy repping it, defensive back repping it, cornerback repping it. He's doing it across the board, and you guys have said it. I mean, you guys looking for pick sixes, maybe multiple ones from him against the Commanders tomorrow. That would be something. Well, let's just hope for one. How about that? Let's go for one, all right? But either way, DaRon Bland is ready to do damage, and he's gonna be at it again tomorrow.
I'm ready to see him damage some
he's
people.
He's actually a focal point of my kind of important matchups to win. And must-win matchups is going to be DaRon Bland's another one. And he's coming to the forefront of the guy to beat in our defense.
I think it's easy to forget how close the Commanders came to beating a lot of the teams that they lost to, and a good chunk of those teams were pretty good, solid teams. So we can't just sit there and act like the Commanders are the same as the Giants or the Panthers. So we do have to approach this game a little bit differently, a little more seriously, you could say.
I hope they take them all serious, and all personal. But
I don't disagree.
I know.
But let's be real as well.
Now, I want to say this.
We can do both.
Dak Prescott, another guy who's on the award front here, guys. Today there were 32 players, one from every team, who were nominees for the Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award. And now it's been finalized. The 32 teams pick a player apiece. And yes, as you can see, Dak Prescott, of course, he was, as you can see, he's not in this picture, but he's wearing that little Walter Payton, patch on his uniform this year, because he won the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. He's again now also in 2023 the nominee for the Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award. So congrats to Dak for all the stuff he does in the community. Again, we know what kind of guy Dak is off the
on and off the field.
Yeah, on and off the field we know the player, but
specifically off the field.
Yeah, he's definitely fantastic. I mean, he's the top of the team on that, and top in the NFL as you saw last year from him. Now, let's go to the game now, the actual team, our Cowboys, and what went down. So before our practice today, Mike McCarthy spoke, and he spoke about CeeDee Lamb and his injury. Now, you've seen him on the injury list the whole week. Yes, 2 days ago he started off limited. Yesterday he was, full practice. We'll have to see. I'll go through it in a minute here about how CeeDee Lamb, he's going to look for this game coming up. But according to McCarthy, he said, and about CeeDee Lamb's ankle, he said, quote, "CeeDee is doing well. He's been in all the meetings and all the walkthroughs. I look for him to progress. I will be limited He said he will be limited in today's on-field work. So again, guys, even the on-the-field, CeeDee Lamb is not going to do a lot of. Was not going to do a lot of stuff today, as was said by Mike McCarthy. And again, CeeDee Lamb himself yesterday spoke, and to the media, and he said that he's going to play. He's playing. Remember, that one quote you had. He's playing.
Yep.
He's going to be on that field.
He
on
said,
Thursday.
"I'll be straight."
Yeah, he's going on that. He's going to be there.
He's not going to be gay or boy.
McCarthy also said that he's going to be checking. And again, guys, another guy with the other major injury you can say we're watching here is Jaron Kearse. Number one, a strong safety. McCarthy's said today that he's checking with the training staff momentarily on how much Jaron Kearse with the back injury can do in this practice today after not practicing at all on Monday or Tuesday. According to McCarthy, this is what he said, quote, if Jaron Kearse is not available today, that answers the question for tomorrow. So we're going to take a look at the injury report here in the practice report. Now, and I'm going to bring up a little more of this, I guess, when we keep talking about it, but if he's not able to play, Jaron Kearse misses his game or has to be on a limited snap count, Wanye Thomas is the guy, number 30, I see stepping in at that safety position more heavily. And then, these talk about a lot of young guys here, like Wanye Thomas, but on offense, you have McCarthy talking about a couple of rookies, actually on offense and defense. On offense, Jalen Brooks, number 83 wide receiver, our 7th round pick. McCarthy said, quote, he's doing an excellent job on special teams. He's earned his opportunities. So a lot of you guys want to know how he's doing great as far as special teams, which keeps you on the team when you're somebody who's the 6th receiver on our offense, on our receiving core. And then the other guy he spoke about, which I love to hear here, is about Mazi Smith, our 1st round pick in 2023. He said, quote, Mazi is growing up as a pro. So you can see he's still in transition stage here of making sure that Mazi keeps evolving and developing in the NFL kind of style of things and coaching under the Cowboys going forward here, looking better and better every week. I mean, last week he had a couple quarterback pressures, almost had a sack, did some good stuff on the run stop. So Mazi Smith, again, like we've said, middle of the season, you might start seeing him get better. That's where we're at now. And I said by next season or even a second, after or maybe middle of a second season, you might see him, looking like that 1st round pick. It takes about a year and a half, 2 years sometimes for 1st round picks, the defensive line, interior defensive linemen, tackles, defensive tackles to start to show what they're really made of. It takes them about a year and a half, 2 years sometimes. So not a surprise there when it comes to Mazi. Great to see that Mazi is headed in the right direction with the Cowboys.
Agree.
Now, I do want to say
again, we always knew his start was always going to be a slow one. So, perfect timing now for him to start picking it up a bit, though.
Yeah. So, when we look at, again, going towards the injury side of things, and as we kind of peek at the injury, I do want to make one mention about Jordan Lewis, the J-Lou $2 hollers here. Jordan Lewis, of course, he's our nickel cornerback, right? He's our 3rd corner, but he plays in the slot there in the nickel. Remember, last year, in that Detroit game, he suffered a mid-foot fracture dislocation, which is, what they said? It's typically something you see in high-speed motor collisions. Or falls from a very significant height is the kind of breaks you see when it came to his foot. And immediately his career was in jeopardy. But again, good. Even though he's still a little bit not 100%. The J. Lou that we remember here, he's still up there. He's still doing his job, and he's still doing a pretty good job most of the time out there. It still needs to be a little more consistent, in my opinion.
I think the problem is, at least for Jordan Lewis, unfortunately, is that some of our worst plays have happened with him involved. Does that make sense? We've seen him very visibly messing up on some of the worst plays we've seen the last few weeks. So that probably doesn't help his stats.
Yeah.
But
again,
or our perception of him, I should say, based on the reality of his actual stats.
I mean, it kind of intertwines, so some of it's on him, some of it's on the foot, some of it, is not his fault. But either way, I just wanted to throw that in there since we're talking about injuries now. And again, the injury updates, the injury news. As far as our players today, I'm going to go through the guys who were all full practice. Peyton Hendershot, who, by the way, has not been put on the 53-man roster, so he's currently not able to play unless the Cowboys up him tomorrow against Washington. He ain't playing, even though he's full to go. Again, guys, had 2 weeks of full practices. Hendershot's ready to come off the IR. But he's not, again, he's not on the 53 yet. The Cowboys have to release somebody or move somebody. The Cowboys might just wait to see if anyone gets injured again, that they can move onto the, injured reserve, which would then open up a spot in the 53 for Peyton Hendershot. And we had Osa Odigizua with the hamstring, 2 weeks with his hamstring, 2 weeks full practice. He has no game designation. Neither does Peyton Hendershot if he's active. You got Terrence Steele, who had an ankle. He was limited on Monday, right after the game, but then full practice yesterday, full practice today, no game designation. Great news. I mean, he's full go.
That's fantastic.
Kavontae Turpin, off that quick turnaround with that shoulder. 2 weeks ago, missed the game. Last week played, was full practice all week, last week and this week. No game designation. He's good. He's full go for the game. So great news on those 4 guys. Then let me throw in Jonathan Hankins for a quick second. Because Jonathan Hankins, guys, he missed practice today. He did not practice at all, and that's a major. I'm like, what's wrong? I look at what's wrong. It's a rest day, personal day.
Phew.
Yes, no, not injury related. Jonathan Hankins had the day off, and he is.
Don't scare us like that, McCarthy.
He's completely clear for tomorrow's game. No game designation. That leaves us 3 guys. CeeDee Lamb.
Okay. With
the ankle injury. He was limited on Monday. On Tuesday, he was back to full practice yesterday. And today, full practice.
Thank goodness. No setbacks.
No setbacks. No game designation. He's 100% ready to roll. CD, baby. Get those TDs. And then we got another guy here, Enrico Dowdle, who we've been watching him, right? They didn't practice on Monday with that ankle. Again, he didn't really practice last week, but he still played.
Yeah.
He did not practice on Monday with the quick turnaround, which as expected with the ankle. Tuesday he didn't practice as well. Today he was only limited. So he was not at full practice, and he's listed as questionable. Same as last week.
So maybe the Cowboys are being like extra careful after the whole Joe Burrow thing, or again, he's actually questionable. Yeah. You know what I mean?
He might be a little banged up, but I think I agree with you. I think what we talked about last week, it's more of a Joe Burrow fallout. They want to make sure they list somebody. If they're even a little bit banged up, you got to list them on the injury report. Now, he is questionable. So that's a 50-50. It could be something game time. Mm-hmm. But let me say one thing about Mr. Rico Dowdle. I'll give an update on him. Right now, I'm going to give it to you guys. Rico Dowdle, even though listed as questionable with that ankle, officially expected to play on Thursday against the Commanders.
All right, so that's how we're heading into tomorrow.
Yeah. So expect Rico to play. If anything set back tomorrow I don't know, that can change. But right now, he's going to play. So every single guy I mentioned, CeeDee Lamb is good to go. Rico Dowdle looks good to go. Jonathan Hankins had a rest day, et cetera, et cetera. Dowdle, just on his side, had 235 yards on the ground. That's 4.3 yards per carry and 2 total touchdowns for the Cowboys this year, 1 back on Pollard. So Dowdle is an important piece for our offense and our running backs. So that's good to see. But the only other guy on this list that we have to kind of take again, everybody's good, right? Knock on wood, it stays that way. But we got J-Ron Curse, our starting strong safety, who plays a little hybrid linebacker there, and sometimes is a green dot, and he's calling the play at times, sometimes. Unfortunately, guys, he is doubtful for the game, and doubtful means you ain't playing. So did not practice all week. He has that back injury. He came out of that game with the back injury. It's too soon of a turnaround, and the expectation, and I'm going to tell you, MCF's expectation is that J-Ron Curse is not going to play, especially when you look at the Cowboys making a roster move. We moved up and elevated from our practice squad Sheldrick Redwine, who's a safety. And he's elevated for the Cowboys on this Thanksgiving matchup against the Commanders. This is the first of 3 that he can be elevated. Remember, he's never been used yet as an elevated player for game day.
Yeah, so he's clear.
But I'm just trying to say, Sheldrick Redwine, he's going to be able. He actually had some nice hits in training camp on some of our, like Jalen Brooks and some of these guys. He had some nice hits. He's replacing basically Wanye Thomas, who's replacing J-Ron Curse. And that's the way I think that's going to play out. There's going to be other guys being used in those scenarios where you only use 2 safeties. Or you might see some Israel Mukuamu in the mix there, some kind of hybrid safety corner.
But it makes sense. So basically, like if Curse is out, Wanye Thomas takes a bigger role. And now because Wanye Thomas is not at his role, someone else has to move into
Mukuamu
the
gets a little bit. Yeah, Mukuamu goes up a little bit.
Et cetera, et cetera.
And Sheldrick Redwine takes over the final spot there at the bottom of the barrel at the safety spot. So, again, for our team tomorrow, the only injury of note is J-Ron Curse, who, by the way, has got to cover Logan for the tight end for Washington, who has a little bit more yardage, let's say, than Ferguson, and he's maybe a little bit better than Ferguson, at least stat wise, but the trajectory and ceiling wise, Ferguson is the guy you want to have. Logan is not that as good as he used to be, and so we got to worry about coverage on tight ends when you have no J-Ron Curse, and so. To me, that is one of the things we kind of have to rewatch and kind of take a look at, because you look at their tight ends. They got Logan Thomas. I say Logan because Logan Thomas, number 82, John Bates, number 87, and they will try to attack us with the tight ends. So whoever replaces J-Ron Curse, Wanye Thomas, you got to bring your A game here. So we're counting on him now. The teams, again, any team playing tomorrow, right? The Packers and Lions. Later on after our game, that's the first game. The later on after our game, the Seattle and Seahawks and the Niners, and of course for our game against Washington, the Commanders coming to Dallas against the Cowboys. All these 6 teams will wear a patch on their jerseys to honor the late John Madden, who helped take these Thanksgiving games to another level with the turducken. You know the deal, guys. Again, with the Cowboys patch is going to be, it's basically a throwback kind of look on every uniform. And it's
for a
gonna
second, I thought you meant it was going to be a turducken patch.
No. It's a really cool patch. But the thing is, it's kind of like an old school looking patch on. And guess what? On our jerseys, which are going to be old school looking jerseys, we're going to go back to the '60s jerseys, right? We got our. When you look at the uniform schedule, you're seeing here we're that 23 here, basically the second row all the way to the right. That number 23 there in that dark blue, and the white shoulders. Those right there are the Thanksgiving throwback looks from the 60s, and they were going to be worn with that white helmet with no, none of our regular star. It's actually our old school star from the 60s, where there's no trim in there, so it's just the regular star. So that uniform look, is going to look even better, I think, with an old school kind of John Madden, like 60s patch. I mean, it kind of fits the thing. Anyways, when it comes to this game against Washington, the Commanders. The Washington-Dallas Cowboy game, the line jumped. The betting line went from 11 points. The Cowboys were I think 10.5 or 10.5. They went up to 11, and now they're up to not every single spot, but on several sports books is up to 12.5 points. So it went from like 10 to 12. That's a lot of points to move in 3 days. So either way, the Cowboys are expected to win by basically 13 or more, 12.5 or more. Now,
the freaking Commanders don't even have running hot water in their stadium. So,
Giants and Washington couldn't take a shower after that game in Washington that they blew against the Giants. Looked ugly.
Those fellows were ripe. So.
And now we get the Commanders and ripe and all. Look, here's the thing, baby. What's their situation of their injuries? All right, they got a lot of injuries yesterday, and we're looking here at this list. First and foremost, Cody Barton, a linebacker with an ankle, full practice all week. He's good. Sam Kazi, who was back at full practice yesterday, full practice. No, he's going to be good to go for the game as their starting guard. Jatavius Martin's shoulder injury limited till today. He's full practice, good to go. And same thing with receiver Curtis Samuel, who's full practice all week. So these 4 guys, 100% in and ready to go. Linebacker DeJohn Harris has a quad issue. He was put on IR. So he's obviously missing this game. And Effie Odaba, who snapped his leg. Well, I think we all know he's not going to play, right? He's on IR officially today. So that's 6 of their players. Now, what about the other 5 listed on their team? Who's not going to play and who's questionable? Well, Antonio Gibson, their starting running back, with a toe injury, was limited all week and is questionable for this game. Kaliki Hudson, who's a linebacker, has a back issue. He was put on in the middle of the week did not practice on Tuesday with that back issue. Was limited today. He's listed as questionable for tomorrow. So when you're looking at, where are these guys going to play? Are these guys going to be able to, what are they going to be able to help, out with this with the rotation? Because some of these guys are backups, but we'll have to see. The question marks for both Gibson, who's the starter, and Hudson, who on linebacker, who is a rotational backup there for them. Now, the 3 guys there's 3 other guys on this list. Fullback Alex Arma, hamstring, did not practice all week. He is officially out. Their starting fullback is gone for this game. And I'm going to be real, guys. You got defensive edge rusher James Smith-Williams, who is a starter for them. He is out for this game. That puts Andre Jones Jr., a rookie, or KJ Henry, a rookie, on that spot there. So they are now that defensive edge rushing went down when they traded some of these guys away, Chase Young, and now it went down even more that their starter was there, is gone now. And probably the biggest blow, definitely to their secondary, it's their first-round pick, I think, pick 15? Number 13, Emmanuel Forbes Jr., cornerback. Now, he's kind of a backup, played a rotation role. He is officially out. Alex Armra with a hamstring, Emmanuel Forbes with the elbow, and James Smith-Williams with a hamstring. Again, guys, starters or almost starters or expected to be, good players, three guys out, 2 guys questionable, major salt in the wound for Washington, and they're already, not great team, defense, offense, whatever it may be. So I'm going to break down some things here in a moment about the Commanders' defense against our Texas Coast offense. We've been talking about our Cowboys all week and the offense. We're going to talk a little bit more. But hey, let's stop the show for a second because got Mary Alvarez with the drop of the night. Dropping that $10 Cooper Rush holler. What did star level member Mary Alvarez have to say?
Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is doing great. Wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Unfortunately, work tomorrow, but still go Cowboys.
Always go Cowboys.
Always let's get that win, and God bless you all. First of all, Mary, huge shout out to you. Thank you so much. A very happy Thanksgiving, even though you are working.
We'll put up tomorrow. This for you here. So, we're still going to chant, beat the commies, right? So that's, we got the happy Thanksgiving for you. We'll be, hopefully you can somehow tune in or something, put the AirPod in there. Let's go. But if not, we'll still be here repping that star for everything. Much love to Mary. And again, I don't know if you had anything more to say. I'm going to add her to the board.
I just think it's funny because, again, at least for me, this is the first time in my entire working adult life that I will actually have Thursday and Friday off.
Yeah, it's been it's been like 10 years, maybe. You've been the old place held you down a little bit there.
Yes. Yeah. So and even before that, I'm saying I
agree.
Retail, obviously, that means
Yeah,
you're there Black Friday.
You're working on the Thursday and Friday. Thursday, but usually Fridays you're working, right? So
exactly.
Not this time, not for all MCW.
Or even, some of the other offices I've worked at, you still had to come in on Black Friday or work Black Friday. So, I just very much looking forward to watching our Cowboys hopefully kick some commando ass.
Yeah, so you got to beat the commies.
Exactly, just kick back, relax, and enjoy the turkey, right?
Yeah, can't
allow
wait.
myself to get in a food coma and not have to worry about it.
That's right. So again, we'll be here. Mary, much love to Mary.
And shout out to those who do work or have to work.
Yeah, it's tough. I used to have to work every single Thanksgiving at the hospitals. When I was in the hospital. Yeah. Having to work at the actual hospital, man, that sucked. Yeah, hospitals never close. Yeah, it's just a Thursday there. You get a little holiday pay. That's it. So trust me, I know. So for those that do it, get that extra cash money that they give you from those days, and then make it. We have done like Wednesday or Friday Thanksgivings. It doesn't have to be that Thursday because we know Thursday is Go Cowboys Day. You know it. So again, just much love to Mary, who I put her up on the board. Seabass for 83 points. Any other quick thoughts maybe before I start breaking down Washington and their defense against our Cowboy offense?
Let me see here. And Clayton, I don't think that anyone is necessarily dismissing the Lions. Like I said,
I'm definitely not.
Just been slightly inconsistent. So if it comes down to it, I'm just less worried about them than some of the other teams. But I do think it would be a fun matchup. It would probably be very, hate to say this, but very Kellen Moore-esque in that I think it would end up turning into like a big blowout, shootout type of match between both of us.
You think both teams would score a lot of points? I don't know if they can do it against our defense, but I will say this.
Look, the Lions, at least the attempt would be there.
Of course. The Lions, they're dangerous. There's no doubt in that in my mind. But when you look at the top teams, you can't put the Niners below them. You can't put the Eagles below them, and I don't think you can put the Cowboys below them, even though they have a one more win. I just think that they have to earn that, right? And right now they're earning it, but they're not there yet. And even if they are, they still got to beat these 3 teams. To me, if I was a non-biased fan of the NFL, I would say it's Niners, Eagles, Cowboys. Or Eagles, Niners, Cowboys, however you want to do it. And then Lions. Without quite, I know, baby, you always said you put them with Seattle. They're better than Seattle.
Oh, no.
What I'm saying? I used to say at the beginning of the year.
That was a few weeks ago.
I know.
Obviously,
But even then I said they're better than Seattle.
There.
I thought they were better than Seattle because there's just something about about the way that their coach Dan Campbell is doing their thing out there, and Pete Carroll's stuff is a little more outdated. He's great, don't get me wrong, but I think Dan Campbell is kind of the new wave, and he's giving again. He kind of reminds me of a team that's kind of going to overproduce throughout the season, and they're going to get to the playoffs, and they're going to get one of these solid teams that have been there multiple times, like the Eagles, the Cowboys, and the Niners, and they're going to beat them maybe worse than people may expected them to beat the Lions. I'm just saying because the Lions look so good record-wise. But look, I give them all the credit. They're, at the very least, you're a top 4 team in the NFC. Without question. Anybody tells you different, they're wrong.
So, and there you go, Steve asks. Exactly. Ready to go. Right? Thomas Garrett said get that time and a half. Heck yeah, right? Right, Mary?
Damn right.
Do your thing there. Mm-hmm. So, and yes, guys, huge shout out to absolutely everybody here chilling, hanging with us here in the chat. Take a second before we start to, wrap things up.
Wind it down here in a couple minutes. Well, it's still good. We got 2 little topics, but we're winding it down here in the next 20 minutes or so, right?
Yes, but hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily. Of course, hop in the Discord, links down below. And a special shout out to sponsor of the week, Cash App King Snug X. C Bass bossing that stream around with 83 points. And of course, Jason Renfro, the membership man, membership king.
2 weeks in a row, back-to-back like our 90s Cowboys. Trying to go for 3 weeks. He is currently the gifting leader this week. Jason Renfro is also the Cash App leader, while Amazing Games is still the overall leader this week so far. Tomorrow's game day. Things usually change then. Now, let me talk about this battle here against Washington. And, which one should I put up today? Should I put the Washington Snyders? I like the commies. No, this commies here. These are pretty good. But either way, look, I think this one's the best one. I'll leave them both up. Here's the thing, guys. The Commanders' defensive line. When you look at their defense versus our offense, the Commanders' defensive line, they've lost 2 major players. Not to injury, but to trade. Before the trade deadline ended this year. Chase Young, remember, went from Washington, one of their top picks. And they shipped him over to the San Francisco 49ers for a 3rd-round pick. Montez Sweat, the other highly touted interior defensive lineman, was traded to the Chicago Bears for a 2nd-round pick. The Commanders basically hedged their bets on the fact that the front 7 were not going to live up to the full expectations that they were thinking they were going to have, and both players, were traded. They were traded before their contract renewal comes at the end of the season. So that was the reason why they traded really 2 of their best pass rushers and defensive players on the defensive line. So their defensive line right now is now even more of a glaring need. Again, you got to remember they had Efe Obada, who broke his leg, and he's out for the year. So he's placed on injury reserve. Defensive end James Smith-Williams, guys, he's out for this game. He's a starter. Both these guys are starters. Both these guys are out. So not only do they trade away 2 defensive linemen, they also have 2 guys out for injury this game, and Obata for the rest of the year. So when you look at this, like, what are you gonna do here? There is a familiar face by the name of John Ridgeway. He'll have to step up probably and maybe play some snaps there inside. So we'll see our old release there. But again, Ridgeway will play a consistent role for Washington. And he has 6 pressures this year. It's kind of funny because Micah has like 6 per game. But anyways, the point here is when you look at all these guys, the only guys they truly got left, like I said, Casey Toohill is their starting right edge rusher. Left side, they don't have James Smith-Williams. So they have to have Andre Jones Jr. jump in there, a rookie. They're in trouble on the outside. And in the inside, that's where their strength lays. I will say, reiterate, you see him on the front of our cover here, of our thumbnail, Daron Payne, number 94. He's a pain in the ass for opposing offenses. That's true. So he's a guy that has some solid there. And interior, they got Jonathan Allen as well. Both these guys are fantastic, and they will make the running game difficult for the Cowboys. Maybe not off tackle, which is where I think we should run more, to that hitting that outside B into the C gap. That's what we should hit. But Daron Payne, Jonathan Allen, number 93 and number 94, those are the guys that are probably their strength on defense. And they'll be the ones that will be giving some pass rush issues and some run stop issues for our Cowboys. Ridgeway will have to come in he'll be spelling them at times. And of course, he's number 91 over there for them interior. Now, that is the way their defensive line looks. I would say better things about them if they didn't trade their guys or get 2 guys traded and 2 guys injured. That's 4 guys plus the other 2 they do have starting good. That's 6 great players they had. Now they're down to 2. on the defensive line. So big need there for Washington. Now let's move to the linebackers. Jamin Davis, who I really like there. The Cowboys really liked him there. I think Washington got him in the second round a couple years ago. Linebacker, Jamin Davis, number 52. He's improved from last year, but he's still looking like he's missing something out there on the field. He's kind of missing some of the assignments, some of the gaps. So, again, drafted 19th overall. I'm sorry, I thought he was a second-round guy. He was drafted 19th by the Commanders overall 2 years ago. The Commanders love the blitz. And when the opportunity arises, the guy they love to use as the blitzer is, we use Micah Parsons a lot of times. It's Jamin Davis for them, number 52. All right, so keep an eye on him. He'll be coming in blitzing from all over. He does have 3 sacks this year, so keep an eye on Jamin Davis. David Mayo is their other linebacker. He's kind of in there for Cody Barton, who's been banged up. But Barton's back in practice, so he's starting now. He's formerly of Seattle, number 57, inside there at linebacker, with David Mayo also helping out there. He's got the starting role right now. Because of Davis's sometimes inconsistency, he would come in there and play. So now you got an injury. You had an injury with Cody Barton. So with that, you really got 3 linebackers solid wise. David Mayo getting the starting role there. He's a hit or miss. He's a hit or miss guy as well as a tackler. And when he drops into coverage, David Mayo. If you see David Mayo in coverage, number 51, let's spread him like some mayo. Amazing games in the house with that that $10 matching the drop of the night from Mary Alvarez. Much love the amazing games for that $10 holler as he continues to corral that top spot and that lead currently on the overall board. What amazing games, have to say.
He said, "What's up, my MCF?
Hell yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving. Go Cowboys win 37-13.
That's about that's in that range. That sounds good to me. I like that kind of final score. By the way, thank you and happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Amazing games. And of course, beat the commies. And go Cowboys. You know it.
Looking at this team, we should score more than 30. And I'll be a little disappointed if we don't, but I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up somewhere in the high 20s, right? 27, 28, 29, that'd be a weird score, but you get my point.
I think the 30s are definite for us. I'm with you. I think it's a little higher than what than a 30-point score. It should be at least.
If anything, I feel like my unfortunate bold prediction is I actually think they're going to score more than 20. I could see them with 20. I could see us winning something like 31-21.
That would be disappointing.
You know what I mean? I don't disagree.
I know. I hear you.
Be disappointing.
It's just to me
saying that I think this game is going to be tougher and even closer than people think. The same way that the Panthers game was a little bit not tougher necessarily, but just we didn't lay the smackdown on them. I'm
going to say 2 things to this. We'll discuss it at the end of the stream here as we get closer to the end. Let's discuss it. But when it comes to maybe a bold prediction, the score that you think is going to be out there, but I am saying this: we're at home. That changes things. We're better at home.
It does.
And I mean, there's no way I think that we won't. We talked about their offense yesterday. They have really nothing there. And we talk about their defense, and currently, what do they have? A couple good run stoppers inside, linebackers that are kind of And I'll talk about the defensive backs. They're missing one of their major players there as well this week. So, look, at linebacker, by the way, much love to Amazing Games. Appreciate you and Go Cowboys. I think he said 37-13. 37 is right, baby. I thought you said 30.
No, I said 37-13. I said for me that I think we'll score over 30.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. I thought you meant,
I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up in the
I like that score for the Cowboys. I think 37-13 would be an acceptable final score for me. And
I'll be tremendously happy with that. I just don't think it's going to happen.
All right, well, we'll talk about why and why not in bold predictions at the end of this thing. But let me because I got to get through some of the matchups. Right, we usually do the matchups the next day. But I got them today here for you, a couple of important matchups. But I'll just go into the matchups now. We did the offense versus, our offense versus their defense. Our defense versus their offense. Today we're doing, our defense versus our offense versus their defense. You get me. Anyways, the deal here, guys, they got 3 guys in the middle there. They got Cody Barton back, Jamin Davis, who's on and off starting, and David Mayo, who's hit or miss, especially when it comes to tackling. He's not a great tackler, and he has a hard time to cover when he's asked to drop back. So you see Mayo in the game. You see number 51. You want to pass the ball. You want to attack him. You see, you see him in the game. You see him like whatever side he's at. You run towards him. That's who you want to attack there. Barton has been banged up, but he's back this week. And Davis is good, but he is also up and down. So they're just not solid at linebacker. When the Washington linebackers, see, they have to do so much work because their defensive line is leaking so much, especially on the outside, that they have to cover ground and they get worn down throughout a game. So as the game continues, their linebackers get weaker. Keep that in mind when it comes to running the damn ball, if you want to run that ball. And when you want to pass that ball, you can attack David Mayo and other linebackers, but you can also attack the secondary. The Commanders are not going to have Emmanuel Forbes Jr. this week. Another first-round pick off the charts for them, off the field this week. So you have to, again, look at guys like free safety Percy Butler, who has currently also been banged up, number 35 free safety. But, again, it seems like he may make this game, and play this game. Now, when it comes to the rest of their guys, Cameron Curl at strong safety, Benjamin St. Juste, number 25, Kendall Fuller, which I will say is probably their best coverage guy left back there, Kendall Fuller, Danny Johnson at nickel, number 36. They got other guys backing up some of these guys here. Like I said, Emmanuel Forbes is out for this game. Christian Holmes in there at safety, Terrell Burgess, Jatavius Martin, a rookie. They just have a lot of openings in the secondary, and they are ranking right now third worst in passing yards allowed. Remember, we played the fourth best passing defense last week with the Panthers. The Washington Commanders pass defense, they don't get pressure, and they can't cover that well. They allow the third most yardage. So this should be a much different game.
Just that alone is going to mean a very pass-happy McCarthy and Dak.
And if we run to the outside, we can do both. The thing is this. Not only do they rank third worst in passing yards allowed, they rank last in passing touchdowns allowed. That means that they allow the most passing touchdowns in the entire league. And they allow the third most yards against them in the air in the league. So this is going to be something we will crush these commies, in my opinion. And I think that the Cowboys we can do our damage on the ground, by land or by air. And I'm telling you, running the ball or passing the ball by our offense, Texas should toast these guys, no question. Now, special teams real quick, baby. I know we talk defense, but I want to say special teams. Joey Sly is their kicker. He's currently at 80% at field goals, which is not very good, guys. That ranks 25th among all starting kickers in the NFL this year. 25th. He's also missed 2 extra points this year. I guess so has Brandon Aubrey. Now, their punters, Trey Way, he ranks 19th in yards per attempt, and he ranks 5th in total punt attempts this year. So basically what I'm trying to say is he punts a lot, and they still only rank 19th in yards when it comes to punting. So they're not going to really, put you back too far with the punting. Returning, Jamison Crowder, he does the return work for Washington. He's averaging almost 8 yards. He's averaging 7.9 yards per return. When you compare it to Turpin, it's about the same. So he is a little dangerous. So you got to keep an eye on Jamison Crowder when he's taking those punts and kickoffs back. Just touching on the special teams real quick for Washington, so we're all on the same page. So what are going to be the difference makers here when it comes to the Washington Commies here? What's going to be the matchups we have to win? And I got a couple of them for you guys. This is the end of the stream, and we'll say goodnight here. And, last comments and thoughts, make sure you post them. The last drops of love from above. You want to make a run at this thing? Here's your chance. We're saying goodnight here in a couple of minutes. But some key matchups, and then we'll talk about our bold predictions and score predictions. But like I was saying to you guys earlier, before this whole thing even started, I said this guy, DaRon Bland, is one of the guys that I'm looking at in a major key must-win for the Cowboys. So DaRon Bland versus really the Commanders' receiving core / really Sam Howell. I think you gotta go up and see, when DaRon Bland's got to make the move, got to make the cuts underneath the receivers on Sam Howell. He will throw interceptions. Remember we talked about it yesterday, baby. Sam Howell is currently the league leader in passing yards. He throws for 3,038 yards so far this year. And he's also thrown for a lot of touchdowns, 18 touchdowns. But he's also thrown for the most interceptions in the league with 12 interceptions so far this year. If he wants to keep his interception total from increasing, and in a big way it will, against the Cowboys, he has to be sure about when he throws to DaRon Bland. And when he throws to DaRon Bland, guys, if you throw it to Bland's way, Bland has been an interception machine, scoring points with those picks, 4 out of the 6. And again, he became a starter halfway through the year last year. Bland has a total of 6 interceptions, 4 for pick sixes, tying the NFL record. And yes, you guys have been saying it. That could be the 5th pick 6 in this game against a Sam Howell, who throws the most interceptions in the league right now. Now, in my opinion, I'm pretty sure Rivera, whoever's going to be telling him what to do as far as play calling, is going to be very careful about his throws being down the field, because I think they want to keep him from making any more. They might actually try harder to make him conservative or keep him from throwing these risky throws. But it'll be quick passes. You might see some I always go back to Josh Dobbs and the Cardinals when they beat us. You might see some quick passes, try to gain a little bit of an advantage there and keep us off our feet. So we're going to see what happens. But yeah, guys, again, DaRon Bland versus the passing game. He gets his hand on the ball, knocks the ball down or deflects it. Interception, of course, pick 6 is it? That's going to be a key. But who's going to make that possible? Even easier for DaRon? What makes it the easiest for DaRon Bland to be able to get one of those pick 6s or lock down his receiver? It's this guy, Micah Parsons. You know why? Micah Parsons, I am watching Micah versus Charles Leno Jr. Not Jay Leno. Charles Leno Jr., guys, the left tackle. Now, listen, I'm not a big fan of this guy. I know he's with the Bears a couple of years ago. I don't think he's that good of a blocker, but again, it's probably their best guy they got. They got Charles Leno Jr. there at the left tackle, number 72. And, you got other guys. Chris Paul, number 75. Tyler Larson at center. Sam Cosmi, who's banged up, but he's playing, number 76, at right guard. And Andrew Wiley at right tackle. So, why am I singling out Micah Parsons in this matchup? Because he will be playing most of his snaps against their left tackle. He'll be coming the right side. I like to see him coming from the left side and over center. That's what I'd like to see more. But Micah Parsons against Charles Leno Jr., that left tackle, he's number 72. When you see number 11 against him, keep an eye on them. Of course, we know Micah has 9 quarterback pressures last week with 2.5 sacks, a 40% pass rush win rate. Basically, Micah was unstoppable last week against the Panthers. He's going to carry that momentum, I believe, into this Week 12 matchup against the Commanders. And when you look at Charles Leno, here's the deal about him. You're asking me, well, why are you picking on him? Charles Leno gave up 8 pressures and 2 sacks last week against the Giants. Kevin Thibodeau. They're that one player. Again, just one player against Charles Leno. Leno gave up 8 pressures, 2 sacks. And they got destroyed there on that side of the line. So now you're going to have Thibodeau, which is pretty... he's got a half sack more than Micah Parsons this year. Now you got Micah going in there wrecking havoc. I cannot wait. When they overload that side, perfect. Somebody else gets sacks. If they double him, he'll still get through there. So we're going to see what happens. But Dan Quinn, the big thing from this is that Dan Quinn's been using Micah Parsons in moving him around more often to exploit certain matchups. Right side, left side, middle, whatever. You'll see him all over. But when you see him against number 72, when you see Micah Parsons being put in certain positions against Charles Leno, don't be surprised if Micah and Quinn basically are testing that left tackle early and often, crashing off the edge. Crashing off our right edge, but their left side. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. One of the matchups I think we're going to win, and we need to win. And we do those things, guys. We got Bland watching, Sam Howell and that 1-2 punch of Bland and Micah. If you got Micah putting pressure, Howell's going to have to throw it, and Bland's going to pick it. That's the way this game goes. So those.
Hey, if they want to help us break the record that easily,
I love it.
Please, by all means,
let them throw down the field and let them get pressure by Micah, and you're going to see some bad throws. You're going to see some ducks out there. You're going to see some turduckins, and you're going to see some pick sixes from Bland. Now, we talk about the defense. The last thing I'm going to say here is about the offense. One last thing here. Specifically, again, back to the trenches. We talked about Micah in the trenches. How about our offensive line? The key we have to watch here, guys, and again, I've talked about these guys pretty much being their best players on this. Again, Kendall Fuller at corner, one of the better defensive players, but it's really all about the interior. Deron Payne, number 94. Jonathan Allen, number 93. And we got to make sure Tyler Biadasz does not have another kind of game. You guys feel me on this? At times against the Panthers, the Cowboys' interior offensive line, specifically Tyler Biadasz, was overpowered and sometimes looked outmatched. And you've seen Biadasz kind of, he looks good sometimes, But even against other teams, he's just not been that consistency you want to see him out there with Biadasz, especially when we have tougher interior linemen. So today we have this game here against Washington. They have very good, top quality, elite interior defensive linemen. And to me, guys, when you look at Washington, they invested a lot of money in Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen. A lot of money. And we, of course, have Tyler Smith on the left guard and Zach Martin on the right guard, both playing at a very high level. I'm not worried about Deron Payne or Allen giving those guys truly any trouble at all, consistently, maybe once in a blue moon. So it all comes down to the middle. It comes down to the guy in between these two guys, the glue between Zach Martin and Tyler Smith, and that is Tyler Biadasz, the center. He must hold it. This is a very important key. He has to hold his own at the point of attack. When that snap is gone, he's got to hold him. So he cannot be pushed back into Dak or into the running back, whoever's back there, because they have very talented defensive tackles in Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen. And whichever team, in my opinion, ends up winning the trenches on defense, but also we're talking about the Cowboys on offense, Tyler Biadasz gotta come through. If he can hold it down, listen, he might get burned a couple times. He can keep it pretty consistently locked down in the middle with Zach Martin, Tyler Smith. I believe the Cowboys blow out the Commanders. That's one of the keys of blowing these motherfuckers out. And if we struggle there, then we will struggle in this game against the Commanders more than we think. And that's a very important key in this game, in my humble, very, very humble opinion. That's
and shout out there real quick to the man Amazing Games.
Amazing.
With a fist bumping.
Games.
$3 holler.
Ooh.
You know what he said?
Let me know. Hit me with it.
Go Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Thank you, Amazing Games. I appreciate you. Much love. I'll hand things back over to Mr. MCF so he can take us home. Yeah, I'm taking you guys home because, again, let me know your thoughts about my keys here. Again, CeeDee Lamb in the slot. Obviously, that's going to always be a key for the Cowboys to target him, to watch him. Of course, you want to get the other guys open, too, when you look at the offense. If you got to stay away from somebody, you probably want to stay away from Kendall Fuller. But if you see Danny Johnson, number 36 in the slot, CeeDee Lamb, attack. You know what I mean? The running game, I say go to the outside. Do not run inside all the time because Payne and Allen will make it a painful kind of run ability for our offense. So you got to make sure you lock it down. And listen, use those tight ends against some of these guys that cannot cover, like David Mayo. You know what I'm saying? Use it against their linebackers. We can attack this team on the ground, on the edges. We can attack this team down the field with the throws to the receivers. And we can attack this Washington team with the tight ends on our side of things, Ferguson and maybe even Schoonmaker. Will he get an opportunity? Let's see it. But these are the things where on offense, these are all keys to victory. Biadasz on that offensive line is the biggest, in my opinion. That will keep everything going smoothly. On defense, I already talked about it. It starts with Micah, defensive line, the pass rush, and that battle with Leno versus Micah should be one that goes heavily favored our way. We get that. Other guys will get there eventually. They'll probably have to help Leno, and then other guys will get there. Keeping the pressure on Sam Howell, quarterback for Washington, will make him throw picks. And, hey, maybe Deron Bland. Again, we know the lockdown situation. Stephon Gilmore, Bland, Jordan Lewis still hanging in there in the slot. I'm just saying, if we get the pass rush, our coverage will be majorly helped. Major help there from the pass rush. So that's how you see the tandem work. And if we do that, again, you got the Marquise Bells and Damone Clarks. They got to watch Logan Thomas, tight end. They got to cover, they got to stop the run. Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson, number 8. He's going to be running the ball. He's kind of their starter. Gibson's banged up, but he's questionable. We'll see what happens. But you got to slow down the run game. And the other best way of slowing down the run game is by having a nice lead. That's how easy things will get if we have a nice lead. That's how you help even more the defense by slowing them down, by scoring. You slow down the run game by scoring more points. And if our offense can do it, if defense gets some turnovers, we control the game, and they will have to throw the rest of the game. That's how you disable them and make them one-dimensional. The last thing would be their secondary. Our secondary versus their guys, Scary Terry McLaurin, who's not having a great year. They have Jahan Dotson out there. Curtis Samuels, he's going to be able to play after the injury. Jamison Crowder with the returns. But mainly, guys, again, same thing as last week. Are you going to really be effective? I didn't see DJ Shark catch a ball last week. And we talked about him being there. It could be a dangerous thing. He hasn't really connected with Bryce Young. So now we're looking at this situation. You got Jahan Dotson, who's got the most yards and touchdowns. Terry McLaurin hasn't done as much. But he's still, of course, the most dangerous guy. And Curtis Samuel as well. They're as a slot receiver.
it's going to be, they can get open, but if they get open in 3 seconds, it's too late. You guys feel me on this? And if the ball's thrown earlier, it's a pick. So with the pressure and the coverage, this should be a great day for the Cowboy defense once again. So again, when I look at this offensive line of Washington, we should dominate them. We should, hopefully slow down their run game. Got to keep an eye on Logan Thomas. Without J-Ron Kearse, got to keep an extra kind of eyeballs on the tight ends and whatever J-Ron Kearse's job was. Who's Wanye Thomas, next man up. And again, when it comes to the secondary, Bland, I think Bland goes up against who can pick whoever he wants, McLaurin or not. I think you got Gilmore can also go against either guy. And I think that when you kind of see it play out, it's just a matter of the pressure's there. Whoever's the coverage guy, just take a look back, and you're going to get some picks in this game. Maybe Bland, maybe Gilmore, maybe Lewis, maybe others. But this is in our hands now, in my opinion, when it comes to our defense and our abilities. Now, I do want to say another thing before we head into the chat for the final shout-outs. I want to hear your bold prediction and, of course, your final score prediction.
I mean, I think I'm going to stick with my first score that I gave not that long ago of like 31-21, something like that. As far as bold prediction, you know what? I'm gonna stick with the one that I had originally had.
Okay, the bold prediction
last week, which was Turpin. Turpin breaks one
every week
to the house.
Every week we need to say that.
It's all right because I think
it's gonna work one week.
I can't remember who was that said that Bland is gonna get his next pick 6 on this one, so I don't want to piggyback off of that one since that one's already been.
Yeah, I like that piggybacking. Actually, listen, Bland, it would be great. I think we get a pressure. He throws the most interceptions. This will definitely be an opportunity for Bland to get that pick 6. So I'll throw that one in the mix. I mean, I truly think he can get it. I don't know if he will tomorrow, but that's a bold prediction. Another one back to back, we'll see. That'll be for the record. It'll be at home, which would be even better. But I think that when you look at the way that we'll have to attack this team, this Washington team, I'm not going to say much about the defense because they can be hit or miss sometimes, and we'll still stop them from getting some points and still look better at the end of the game. But to me, on the offense, it has a lot to do with running the ball against Washington on the outside, to their outside. And it would happen probably later in the game, I think, more than earlier. But I think we're going to get, a combination between Rico Dowdle, and he will play, and Tony Pollard, over 150 yards, both these guys together, which would be the first time this would happen, I think. They go a year for the Cowboys on the ground. So hopefully 2 touchdowns, and both guys 150 yards rushing offense. If Dak gets 50 yards, that's another 50 on top of it. I'm saying 150 between both these running backs on the ground, not combined, not yards from scrimmage. As far as the prediction is concerned, the final score, I will say on defense, why not say it? Micah gets 3 sacks this game. How about that for a bold prediction? All right, but
pretty bold.
He should have had 3 this last one, but all right. I do think that the game, if it goes, again, we talked about the offense yesterday, going off of what we kind of reviewed here and researched, if things go the way it's on paper, I think the Cowboys should be able to put up over 30 points without a horrible situation. I mean, they have one of the worst passing offenses in the league. So I'm looking at our offense, or our team, probably going into the 35 to 38 range on points offensively. Would not surprise me if we get into the 40s. And when it comes down to the defensive side and holding them down, I do truly think the defense, it's going to make it really hard for them to do anything with them. They got some guys banged up. The offensive line is trash. So it should be, I would say, no more than, I'm going to try to keep it in this thing. I'll do a bold prediction. 9 points. I always like not to go to the double digits. I'm saying 35-9. Go Cowboys. That's my prediction.
So let me go ahead, hit up the chat for their kind of bold predictions, score predictions, do the final shout-outs as well. And
yep,
guys,
call
that
it
is
a night.
Officially a night here at MCS.
We're on game day. We're game day time next time you see us.
Yep. Rare saying 35-14 Cowboys. Asmodee is saying 43-16 Cowboys. And Rare's reasoning, I don't see Washington scoring more than 17 on us.
It's going to be hard, right? That's why I was gonna say like 13, but I said let's keep it at single digits, 9.
Oh, so let me see. Fuego, take it easy. Amazing games, much love. Justin D in the place to be. Oh, Little Dust Cowboy said, every time you said Leno, I swear I heard Lito. And then Dan Quinn. I like Joker and Quinn. Oh,
I keep
there
saying
you go,
Jay
Lil
Leno.
Dallas.
It's Charles Leno.
Justin D saying, Dan Snyder wrecked that franchise. We just need to take care of business because wounded animals are dangerous.
Just gotta keep wrecking them.
Dirty South MVP, much love. Amazing games, of course. Call me Duran, don't throw an out route my way, bland. So, let me see. Of course, Thomas Garrett, the superior Garrett. Amazing games, Fuego. Let's say Williams in the house. Asmodeus. Cactus G. Just kind of rolling back, making sure. Thomas Garrett, the superior Garrett. Clinton Godfrey.
Superior.
And yeah, that's as far back as I can go. Justin D, amazing games. Both of you guys, everybody.
Thank you, guys. And by the way, also shout outs to Jason Renfro for the drops of love. Jack Luna for the $2 holler there. Mary Alvarez, amazing games. On that note, guys, it is time to get on out of here, baby. Remind everybody, okay, tomorrow the cameras come on, the live reaction. We're doing this for 7 seasons. And, baby, I want you to tell everybody why we do this every night here at My Cowboys Family.
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly, we rep that star over everything. And here on My Cowboys Family, 6 years and beyond, never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, go Cowboys. As you see in my shirt, let's get that 6 and beyond. Thank you all for dropping your knowledge and your thoughts on our Cowboys in the chat all night long. Thank you all also for dropping the love from above, helping out the channel here. And we'll be back tomorrow with the lights, camera, action. Happy Thanksgiving to all. Actually, let me throw that back on here. We'll leave it with that here. But again, guys, I hope you guys have a great time with you and yours. Enjoy the early game. And enjoy I don't know if you have early Thanksgivings or not. Some people do because it's around the Cowboys. And it kicks off. We're here with you celebrating Thanksgiving. And hopefully another victory by our Cowboys. So, guys, thank you for that. We'll be back tomorrow for the game day live stream reaction. Once again, watch party play-by-play style. And thank you for being here with us, guys. Before we can officially drop out of here for the night, what do we got to do, baby?
We got to drop the beat.
Hell yeah. And happy Thanksgiving to everyone here with us tonight. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys. All you guys. Hit that like, subscribe, and that bell. You know what to do here on another Cowboys chat in the books. Talked about their defense. Talked about some matchups that we definitely need to win defensively and offensively. But either way, guys, I mean, we're what, 13 hours away? Let's get it on. I'm ready. Here in MCF, it's always about that navy blue, that silver too, that star for everything. Never forget the number one thing here in My Cowboys Family. Much love to everyone. We'll see you back here tomorrow for the game day reaction. Again, thank you all, guys, hitting that like and subscribing, growing the channel, and of course, following us on all social media at My Cowboys Family. Have a good night, guys. Stay safe. Have a very happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you tomorrow here again for kickoff. And never, ever forget, go Cowboys!